And I think we all know how to lose weight, but it's all about how do we learn to, build ourselves into that person who can inherit those results and maintain it and build it all into a process that we love. My name's Chad Sievers, and this is my advice. I'm a transformation coach, and it's something I've been doing for the past 4.5 years now. And I specifically work with corporate women on helping them lose weight sustainably. And what I've found throughout my experience is that it's a lot more than just the tactics on losing weight. With the exercise and the dieting, there's a lot more to it. So I've learned it stems a lot from your mindset, your beliefs, and a lot of those things that are holding you back. It's a lot of just working through deep rooted issues and all that really helps these women get to the other side. And that's where the transformation lies. Yeah, so some of the issues I've seen a lot with women, working with women over the past 4.5 years, is this like relying on motivation and willpower to make these changes and all that. And as we all know, those things aren't always there. And when it's there, it's great, but it doesn't last. And that's why it's important to dig deeper and to create the habits that really align with you and are things that you can stick with in the long run. Moving past, not feeling the motivation and willpower, the key is to always start small. It's understandable whenever you're in pain and you're not where you want to be, the clothes aren't fitting the way you want to, and you're just not who you want to be right now. It's easy to want to jump into things right away. And that's one of the things I've seen that has prevented many of the women over the past 4.5 years from achieving the results that they want to achieve. So you need to start small. If you're somebody who's sedimentary and you're not moving much and you try to go to the gym 3 to 5 days a week already, that's way too big of a jump. Like, start with getting home after work, putting on your shoes, stepping outside, or even getting yourself driving to the gym and just getting yourself to the parking lot. Like, it's all about those baby steps. And that's what gets you to really start to move forward, build the momentum, and to make those bigger changes over time that last. So the first thing to dig into with your mind and to understand is that it is the most powerful tool you'll ever be given. And it's something where we have manuals and instructions for our microwaves, TVs, and everything else, but for our mind, it's like a supercomputer that we don't have a manual for, and we're never really taught how to utilize it. And this can be the very thing that either gets you to create the life you want and get the results you want in this life, or it can be the very thing that keeps you stuck in your patterns and keeps you in this dark place and not achieving the life that you want. 95% part of your brain, it's been shown through research, is subconscious. So think about your day-to-day routine. Think about the order in which you shower. Think about the way you brush your teeth, the way you tie your shoes, the drive to work, the drive to the grocery store, or anywhere you're going. Like, these are things that you just do and you don't think about it. It's just automatic. But there was at one time in your life where you had to practice that. You had to practice tying your shoes. You had to practice, and use GPS to figure out where the heck you were going, but through that repetition, it's become a part of your routine. It's habitual. You don't think about it, you just do it. And this goes for everything else in your life. So basically, that means 5% of you is a conscious person, right? So you're battling 95% of your brain essentially. And if it's something that's not serving you. And the thing to understand around your brain and how it operates is that it's very similar to your muscle, like how you develop it at the gym, you get stronger. So when you're exercising and you're moving weight, you have the repetition. There's that aspect to it. And then the other side is whenever you're increasing the weight and you're doing the repetition, there's the intensity factor to it. So what are the two things that strengthen your brain? It's number one, repetition, and number two, emotion. Think back many years ago, even as a kid, maybe at a time when you were told that you can't do something over and over and over again. Think about that repetition. Think about the emotions you felt Do you think that's going to play an effect on you over time? Absolutely. And it could be something that is still impacting you to this day and that's still with you. If we can understand these concepts, then we can really begin to take ownership with where we're at and really begin to make these deep changes within ourselves. So I'm going to go over the 3 best ways to not only help you lose the weight for good, but to really overall just help you find the overall happiness, fulfillment, and joy back into your life. Number 1 is your environment. Your environment really dictates your destiny. There's 2 ways to look at environment. Number 1 is the people you surround yourself with, and number 2 is your environment at home or where you're at most often, like work and stuff like that. So let's dig into the first one, the people who you surround yourself with. So if you surround yourself with 5 people who are not motivated, they're more negative, they don't really have goals, and they don't really uplift you, you're going to be the 6th. If you surround yourself with 5 people who are not healthy, they're not working towards similar goals as you, and with weight loss, then you're going to be the 6th. You are a product of your environment. So I'm not here to necessarily tell you need to cut these people out of your life completely. You can, but I've known people who've done that, but it's not necessary. It's more important to limit your time with those people and instead replace them with that time you spend with them with people who are working towards similar goals as you, who do support you, who do uplift you, and who motivate you and all that, because that helps you raise yourself to a higher level. So that way you not only achieve your goals, but it also helps them as well. So you both, increase each other to a higher level to achieve the life and results that you want altogether. The second way to look at an environment is your environment at home and where you're at most often throughout the day with work or, wherever you're at. So if you have cookies or processed foods on your counters, or in your cupboards you have like the cereal up front first, or in your fridge you have the beer or sugary drinks up in the front like the sodas and all that, you're making it really, really hard on yourself to make automatic decisions. So what you want to do is that you want to slowly start to replace those foods on the counters with better options for yourself on there, or push those sugary beverages, the alcohol, back in the fridge and bring the water and the healthier stuff up front, and move the cereal in the back and bring the healthier snacks up front. Because again, there's gonna be so many days where you're not motivated, you're tired, and you're more inclined to make bad decisions. So the second thing to program your mind is visualizations. Your mind doesn't understand the difference between what's real or what's vividly imagined. So I want you to think about a time whenever you were in the movie theater and you're watching, a movie you've been wanting to see for a while, and you're so invested into that main character where you're in that setting, it's a dark room, you have people around you but you don't notice, and you're just so fixated on this character where you're feeling what they're feeling, you're anticipating what their next action is going to be or the consequences of their decision, where you feel those emotions throughout your body and you experience those things. But as soon as you leave the movie theater, after a little bit, you are right back to where you are and you don't think about that anymore. And the reason why I want to explain it this way is because, again, your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So we can use this concept to our advantage, and it's something that pro athletes use, it's something that top performers use across the world. I want you to think about, yourself being in this state where you have the body and you're in that emotional state where you're feeling these emotions that you want to feel. You feel so happy, you feel so confident in your own skin. Ask yourself what you're wearing in at this place. What do you smell? What do you see? Who are the people you're with? Place all these details in this movie, because it's going to help you align your emotions to that vision, to where you're at right now. This is something you can practice 10 to 30 minutes a day, first thing in the morning or at night. I always recommend those times because your subconscious mind is at its most vulnerable point in the mornings and at night. So you can really plant those seeds and really manifest those things overall. The third way to program your mind is action. We can sit here and visualize for 30 minutes a day, but if we spend that 23 hours and 30 minutes not taking the actions in alignment with that, what's that really doing? So we need to make sure that, we're taking those necessary action steps to get there overall. The thing is like you want to slowly start to incorporate these things. And even with these changes you're making for your health and to lose this weight, you must start small. Again, you don't want to go full in on these things, but you do want to ease into these things and implement them because this is going to help you piece together these things more and more over time. So think about like if you're going to be a swimmer or you're going towards a profession, like you don't just sit there and visualize being a swimmer. Like you need to practice, you need to fail, you need to put in those reps in order to become that person to be able to do that. This is the same concept you got to take for your weight loss and who you're becoming to inherit and to keep those results. You need to start small with changes. You got to fail. You got to embrace that failure because there's so many lessons inside of that. That's what gets you to build yourself as that person to inherit those results and keep them. So of course you want to change your environment. You want to practice, surrounding yourself with those people who are in alignment with where you're going. Of course, you want to do those visualizations, seeing yourself in that state, doing those things to become that person. But at the end of the day, if you're not implementing these things, then it means nothing and nothing's going to come from it. This is not a race. This is a marathon that never ends. So make sure you start small, love your process, and building yourself into that person who can inherit those results and keep them.